This episode of the Pu'u Muay Thai podcast is brought to you by pmtlifestyle.com, authentic Muay Thai lifestyle by Pu'u. Definitely go check out the website at pmtlifestyle.com for some awesome lifestyle merchandise. That's for those of you out there either involved in Muay Thai, looking at getting involved in Muay Thai, and embrace a healthier lifestyle to live the life of a Nak Muay. Go check it out.
Sawadee Kop, this is Jonathan at the Pu'u Muay Thai podcast. Today, I have a special treat for you. I dug this one out of the archives. I found it on the web archives. I knew it existed somewhere. I did not know where. So I've been doing some digging for a while, and I found it. So this was back on JSM Radio. It's a podcast. It was about like a soap opera. Just to give you some perspective on how much Muay Thai media has changed. There was not stuff like the Pu'u Muay Thai podcast back then. Now there's more information now than ever about Muay Thai and Muay Thai content, Muay Thai training. So for those of you out there that are new to the podcast, there is no excuse to not continue your education. I'm always learning, always trying to pick up stuff. But this can give you some context and perspective. This podcast was leading up to the 2010 Kings Cup tournament held on December 5th, 2010 at Commerce Casino. On the interview, you're going to have myself, my trainer Dan Mayid, of Mayid Martial Arts. This is when we had Muay Thai School USA. We're all training and fighting out there and teaching under our Thai instructor, Ajol Nakweed. And then there's pro fighter, now Academy owner, David Huerta. He's the owner of Los Angeles Muay Thai down in LA. And the now infamous Joe Schilling. Joe Stitch 'em Up Schilling. Joe went on to go on a freaking tear after this. This was like his beginning of his reign of terror in pro Muay Thai. And this is before he got into his shit-talking stage, because at this point, he wasn't getting the fights he should have been getting, and it was all politics, from my opinion. I've talked about it here before, but they go into some pro fighting questions. Joe, he ended up going in. Who did he fight on this one? I can't remember. But basically, later on, his pinnacle after this was, in my opinion, was winning the 8-man one-night tournament for Glory Kickboxing. So just to show you like how small the Muay Thai world is and how far Muay Thai and these people have grown in the sport, and they're some of the people that were the ones to do it. Okay, so tune in, kick back, relax, enjoy the podcast. Also want to give a shout out if anybody wants to connect or you have questions or comments about the show, you can always DM us at Pu'u Muay Thai on Instagram, and you can always tweet me at Jonathan Pu'u on Twitter, or you can drop me a line over on the Muay Thai community Discord server. Always happy to chat and connect with you. If you're having a hard time out there, man, I know how it is. Don't hesitate to reach out. Always willing to connect with other folk out there going through it. I hope you have a great day and enjoy the podcast.
Good evening, everyone. This is JSAM Radio. Deb coming at you. We have a little bit of a different program tonight. As you know, I will be interviewing the Muay Thai fighters that are going to be competing in the big King's birthday celebration here in Los Angeles in Commerce on December 5th, which is Sunday. And anyone who's listening right now, if you would like some tickets to the fight, just call in and I will take your name down and the tickets will be there at will call for you. It's a great opportunity to meet the fighters and see a great match. Without further ado, I'm going to welcome to the radio, or to the airwaves, Joe Schilling, Jonathan Pu'u, David Huerta, I believe he's here, and manager Dan Mayid. These fighters will be defending their titles at the King's birthday celebration presented by Stand Up Promotions and Commerce Casino on December 5th. If you call in and you want to ask the fighters questions, you can win some tickets to the event on Sunday in the city of Commerce. They are all very accomplished fighters and have been doing this for years. Without further ado, let me bring them on. And here we
Go.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
Okay, I have Joe Schilling on the line and Jonathan Pu'u, and I think I have, let me see.
And Mayid.
David. Is this...
This is Dan.
Is this David? This is Dan. Okay, hi, Dan.
Dan, yeah.
How are you?
Fantastic.
Do you know where David is? Because I don't have David yet.
I believe he should be calling in shortly.
Okay, no problem. All right, let's get started. Since I'm such a a novice at this stuff. I have no experience with it, so it's kind of interesting for me to try to do an interview with a subject that I'm not really familiar with. So just bear with me.
All right.
Okay. All right, and Dan, you're a manager of David, correct?
I'm actually Jonathan Pu'u's manager.
You're Jonathan Pu'u's manager. You know what? You guys could help me out here. You could say,
all right.
Oh, that's not the right person.
All right, Deb, I think I got you. I'm Dan Mayid. I'm the manager of Muay Thai School USA, along with Jonathan Pu'u, one of the fighters from there. Basically, we have a Muay Thai event. If you're not familiar with Muay Thai is a martial art that's developed in Thailand, and it's also known as the art of 8 limbs, meaning that you use 2 hands, 2 elbows, 2 knees, 2 feet. And in the sport of Muay Thai, all of those weapons are legal to use. And this has only been within the last 5 or 6 years that these full rules Muay Thai has been brought to the United States. So it's a fairly new sport in the States. And really what Stand Up Promotions is trying to do with this upcoming event and with all their events is really get it into the public eye of Americans so they can really see the beauty of Muay Thai, the art of Muay Thai, and, of course, the sport of Muay Thai.
Wow. Well, yeah, I think okay, Dan just took away what because I was going to ask you, what is Muay Thai? Okay.
There you go.
All right. Well, see, you're already ahead of me.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm trying to help you out here.
All right. You are. This is true. All right. My first question is to Joe Schilling. Being born in Dayton, Ohio, that seems just strange that you would take up something martial art in Dayton, Ohio. I mean, it's not your typical thing that you would think of out of Dayton, Ohio. So what piqued your interest in the sport?
Well, I guess boxing is pretty big in Dayton, or in Ohio in general. I don't know, I had an older brother that used to beat on me all the time, and I was generally pretty bored. One thing that we do have in Ohio is a lot of boredom, and tends to lead to a lot of fights. And I was getting in trouble growing up, and my mom said I had to find a hobby, and I wanted to find a boxing gym, but there wasn't one in my area. My mom picked me up from school one day and took me to a martial arts gym where they had Muay Thai kickboxing, and I never heard of Muay Thai other than I'd seen the movie Kickboxer with Van Damme. And I remember throwing a complete tantrum in the car. I was about 14, 15 years old, and saying that, kicking was for girls, and that, I didn't want to do it. And I went inside, and I actually got my butt kicked by a girl that day. And, I remember seeing the instructor and just, really looking up to him and thinking, this dude's such a badass. I want to be like that guy. And, I just kind of kept going all the time. And because I got in some trouble when I was a youngster. And whenever I was in trouble, I was grounded from pretty much everything but the gym. So I spent a lot of time in the gym. And, I excelled at it. It was the only thing I was really naturally good at that didn't take a lot of effort. It didn't seem like work to me. I really enjoyed doing it. So, that's what I did.
Wow. Now,
that was a great answer.
It was a great answer. I mean, like I said, that's something that like jumped off the page at me, which was that you were from Dayton, Ohio, and as you know, Drew is from Ohio. Drew, my trainer, and yeah, he's from Ohio, but I think he's from he's from Bowling Green, Ohio, right? Yeah. And so that's like I said, that's just not something you would necessarily think of like right away is martial arts for that area. But I guess, you learn something new every day. Now, I read here that you became a boxer and you had the fastest knockout in 5 seconds.
Yeah, well, like you were saying, Muay Thai it's a fairly new sport in the U.S., and up until recently there was only like 1 or 2 promoters and quite a few people that wanted to fight, and there was not a whole lot of professional fighters. So once I went pro, I had I think four professional fights and kind of ran out of opponents that wanted to fight me, and I wanted to stay busy. This is my passion. This is my life, so to speak. So to stay busy in fighting, I tried MMA a little bit, and it didn't take very long for me to realize that I had no idea how to fight on the ground whatsoever. But I had been, when I was growing up, when I was fighting in Ohio, there wasn't a lot of Muay Thai other gyms to fight with or other people competing in Muay Thai. So I would fight boxing one weekend, and there's a San Chow kickboxing fight in Indiana next weekend, so we'd drive to Indiana or we'd go to all over the place. So I fought a lot of different styles. I was training Muay Thai for what the people in Ohio thought was Muay Thai. So boxing seemed like an okay fit. And I had my pro boxing debut. I trained really, really hard. I trained with a lot of really good boxers, and I was really nervous for the fight. Kickboxers generally aren't known as very good boxers, and
right.
The fight started. I put my hand out to touch gloves, and the guy ran across the ring and tried to throw an overhand right over my reached out hand to touch gloves, and I instinctively threw a right hand and turned, and when I turned, he was on the ground, so he ran directly into my right hand. So it sounds a lot more spectacular than it really was. It was kind of disappointing that I trained that hard for a fight that only lasted 5 seconds.
Yeah, well, that's true. I can imagine. So what do you find is like the biggest difference between Muay Thai and boxing then?
Well, Muay Thai, we do a lot of things that you aren't very good for boxing. We grab the head, we stand more straight up. We almost never put our heads down because you can get kneed to the face. Our guard is a lot higher because you can get kicked to the head. And with boxing, they duck and slip and they put their head down quite a lot, which I've been ingrained for the last 10 or 11 years. I've been doing this not to do that. So,
right.
And boxers punch hard. I mean, there's no way that you can argue that boxers punch harder than any other sport, any other fighting sport. I mean, that's all they train. And most boxers, especially at the professional level, have a ridiculous amount of amateur fights. That means they've been training, kids, especially in Los Angeles, start training boxing when they're 6, 7, 8, 9 years old, the same way they train Muay Thai in Thailand. And it was just, it's a very hard thing to jump into boxing as a professional with a very little amateur background at 25 years old and think that you're going to catch up to a guy. Oscar De La Hoya had 150 amateur boxing fights. Shane Mosley had like 200 amateur boxing fights. These guys have been boxing and slipping and dipping and ducking and throwing hard punches since they were 8, 9 years old. So it's a very different sport. And there's things that boxers train that they're supposed to do that we're not supposed to do, and there's things that we train that we're supposed to do that they're not supposed to do. So there's a lot of differences. The biggest thing being the stance is a little more sideways for boxing, and the ducking is a big problem.
Wow. Yeah, that is a huge difference. I wouldn't have. Nobody really, if you're not into the different sports like that or boxing, because I'm certainly not into boxing, but I can imagine, like, because in Muay Thai, I know you use, like you said, you use your feet, your hands, your knees, your elbows. Elbows?
Yes. Absolutely.
And so that's hugely different than boxing, because boxing is basically punching, isn't it? And weaving and bobbing and things like that. Yeah. Interesting.
And it was actually there were times in training and sparring where I would, attempt to kick somebody or knee somebody out of instinct. So it was really frustrating because you're training for a fight in a different style and you're trying to ingrain these things in your mind and also try to forget the things that you've already been ingrained. So it was a little frustrating at times.
Oh, I can imagine. Well, frustrating and challenging.
Right.
Because you're re-educating yourself, right, on how to fight. Yeah. Wow. All right, Jonathan. Now, I understand you were out in Ventura. You were out in Ventura where you were doing Muay Thai.
Yeah.
For a while, and you decided that you needed to come down to
Muay Thai School USA.
Yeah, Muay Thai. Okay, that. What was the deciding factor? What brought you from Ventura down to there?
Oh, well, one of the reasons I wasn't really getting any fights up there. The gym I was at, they weren't really tied in with any of the promoters. I couldn't get much experience, except for, a few unsanctioned amateur events. So when I came down here, I met Dan Mayid, and I was training with him. I was getting good sparring, and actually had another friend, Roy Corona. He was down here, and he was getting fights. I'm like, cool, yeah, I want to get in on that. And that's how I went.
Wow. Okay, so you compete in pro-am?
No, I have pro-am. So it's amateur Muay Thai.
Okay. So explain to me what you're going to be doing at the fight on Sunday. What is your purpose there?
My purpose is to go there and entertain and do my best to win. And
yes, I know.
That's short and simple.
Okay, Dan, you got to get a hold of this guy. He needs better answers. Dan, come on now.
Basically, well, that's what I wanted to say. That's a good answer for me, I think. But Jonathan's job as an amateur, he doesn't get to use all 8 limbs. So in Joe Schilling's fight, he's going to be able to throw elbows, knees to the head. As an amateur fighter in California, they're not allowed to use elbows. At least in most of the fights, unless they have elbow pads. And Jonathan's not going to be able to do knees to the head. But as far as punches and kicks to the head, that's going to be good. Knees to the body, knees to the leg. So the rules are a little different for amateur. But the competition, the level of competition, it's right up there.
Oh, yeah. It's getting better and better every time, too.
Okay. So are you defending a belt of any kind, or you're just going to?
No, I'm not defending a title yet, but hopefully I get something soon. I just got right now it's just for experience. Win or lose, it's doesn't really matter until you're professional. Right now I have nothing to lose really.
Okay, so Joe, you're a professional, correct?
Yes.
You're a pro. Okay, so you're going there to defend a title?
We're actually fighting. I am a champion at 165 of the Muay Thai Association of America, and he is a champion at 160 for the WBC national title. And we are fighting for the number 1 contendership for the next weight class above his, which is the super middleweight division, which is 168. So the winner of this fight will be ranked as the number 1 contender for the WBC national title.
Okay, so...
That makes sense. So neither one of us are defending our titles. We're both fighting for the opportunity to fight for another title.
For another title. Oh. That's you and David, is that right?
David Huerta is actually defending his Muay Thai Association of America national title. And me and my opponent are fighting for that opportunity.
Okay. So, wow. Just, I'm just a little, I'm very confused about it. There's like this over here, there's like this over here, there's this over here, there's this over here. Okay. All right. So
David is a different weight class, though.
He's a different weight class.
Yeah, he fights at 130 pounds, which is, you won't see him get in the ring with any guy at 160 or 165. So basically, they're fighting for titles under the same association.
Right.
Okay, so in the scheme of things, then, like you look at like WWE, you look at the boxing. What is it? The World Boxing Association, right?
WBC is a big one.
Yeah, WBC is one of the biggest and most recognized organizations for Muay Thai and especially for boxing in the world. Being a WBC national champion, it pretty much legitimizes you as the number one person in that weight class for that, as a national champion in the nation. From there, you could go on to an international title where you would challenge national champions from other countries, and you're ultimately trying to build your way up to a world title.
Okay. So what would you have to do in order to, say, get into the Olympics?
There's no Olympics for Muay Thai. Olympics are amateurs, and they're trying right now really hard to get Muay Thai as an Olympic sport, but the Olympic Committee has not agreed to that just yet, which is kind of silly because they have Taekwondo and they have synchronized swimming and they have shuffleboard or whatever they do. It's pretty ridiculous.
And they have boxing.
They have boxing.
They have boxing, yeah.
Right.
Okay, so when you have, so walk me through this. If you get a world title, what does that mean for you when you have that?
You are the number one Muay Thai fighter in the world in your weight class.
Okay, so it goes all by weight classes.
Yeah, it's set up exactly like boxing. If you go to the fight on Sunday, you will see a boxing ring. You'll see 3 judges, a referee, and 2 guys going at it with boxing gloves on. It's going to look like boxing, except they're going to be able to kick, punch, knee, and elbow. Basically everything that everybody sees in an MMA fight that they actually wanted to see. Everything they see standing up at a much higher level. There'll be no wrestling on the ground. If somebody gets knocked down or falls on the ground, they stand back up. You have 10 seconds to stand back up. If not, it's TKO or knockout.
Wow. Okay. My head's spinning right now. Okay. All right. Okay, Jonathan. Okay, so besides you wanting to go there and fight and win.
Sorry, you're cutting out.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay,
yeah.
Is that better? Is that better?
Yes.
Okay. What is your, I know you want to get the opportunity to go on or to compete, right? Because you're an amateur fighter, correct? Okay.
Yes, correct.
So what does that mean? When you go on Sunday, what is your main goal? I mean, besides winning.
Well, besides winning, a lot of people come to the events. They look to see who has good technique, and that's one of the things I hope to display is good technique when I'm in the ring. And when you do that, you can gather a fan base. Like Joe has a fan base upon the use of his elbow, which I'm a fan of, and so it's really a way to showcase my Muay Thai skill to hopefully get more attention from people to be like, oh yeah, I want people to look at me and be like, yeah, that guy, I want to fight him. So I want to be the best. I want people to see that I'm skilled at Muay Thai and that this is the real deal, and hopefully give everybody a good show. that's the most important thing is all the fans there.
Right. Okay, so how long have you been fighting, Jonathan?
It's been 3 years now, nonstop.
3 years.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're 21?
Yeah, I'm 21. That's correct.
Wow.
Okay. I started fresh out of high school.
Wow, that's early. That's early. Well, I'll ask you this, Dan. What is the difference between Muay Thai and, say, Jiu-Jitsu or Taekwondo or any of the other martial arts?
Well, Muay Thai, for one, like I said, it's fairly new in the United States, whereas Jiu-Jitsu and Judo, Karate, those have all been around for quite a few years now. One thing that is similar, a lot of the philosophy is similar, so the respect, the honor, the tradition, the art is similar. What is different, what I think separates Muay Thai from a lot of other sports, especially martial arts, is the training and the way you can apply everything that you learn. You know, I've trained many martial arts. I've been training since I was 6 years old, karate, jiu-jitsu, boxing, I've done it all. And one thing that has always stuck out for Muay Thai with me was, one is the way you train. Every time you train a punch, an elbow, a knee, a kick, you get to train it full force. You get to apply it in your sparring. It's not simulated. A lot of other martial arts, there's a lot of simulation because you can't, you don't want to hurt your sparring partner. You don't want to hurt your training partner. Whereas Muay Thai, they developed ways to train where you can punch full power, full speed. You can elbow, knee, and kick. And you know what it feels like to hit something. You know what it's like to get hit, so that if you use it for self-defense, if you use it in the sport, you're fully prepared. And that's what I think is really what separates it. And that's just, a little part of it. There's a lot of Muay Thai, and I think that's exactly what Stand Up Promotions is trying to do. And not only show because to someone who doesn't know any better, if you saw Muay Thai, you might think, oh, wow, that's really brutal. But there's so much beautiful art to it. One of the things you will see on Sunday, a lot of the fighters, especially the professionals, they do a dance in the beginning of their fight. It's called the Y Crew. And the Y Crew is basically a dance that honors your gym, honors, for some people, your country, your religion, your family, your teacher. And it's done to music. And that music actually plays throughout the whole fight. And the music dictates the fight. So if the music picks up pace, the fighters will pick up the pace. There were some people at the last couple stand-up events that pulled me off to the side, like, wow, that really is beautiful. And it's kind of weird to hear someone say that when the person next to him is going, oh my God, I can't believe, he cut him with an elbow, or, he kicked him where he kneed him. But people can still see the beauty in it. And, that's just one part. That's the sport of Muay Thai. The art of Muay Thai is, all the other stuff I was telling you about.
Oh, wow. And you've trained in all of the different martial arts?
I've trained in many different, I started training martial arts when I was 6 years old, and I was put in it because I was a really timid and shy kid, and I tried karate, and, as I got older, I went into capoeira and stand-up jiu-jitsu. And then I eventually found kickboxing, and then kind of made my way into Muay Thai, which, a lot of people, like Joe was saying earlier, like what he thought he was doing was Muay Thai is a lot different from what really Muay Thai is. In America, kickboxing was basically karate guys that learned how to box a little bit, whereas Muay Thai from Thailand, when you're using the elbows, the knees, the full application of it is a completely different sport. And that's what's new to the U.S. They've never seen that before. And also, like what Joe was saying, is that the parts of MMA that everyone is looking for. You even watch all the biggest mixed martial arts shows out now. They're making rules to get the fighters back up onto their feet because that's what the fans want to see. That's what the people want to see. But that sport is already there. It's already developed, and it's Muay Thai. That's what they're doing. They're standing up, and they can use all their weapons.
Okay, so I've got Joe back. Do I have Dan? Let's see.
You got Dan.
I've got Dan, and I lost Jonathan. So he'll be calling. I apologize, guys. I'm sorry. It's technical difficulties that happen on Blog Talk Radio sometimes. Yeah, I know. Okay, so So you were saying you train in karate, kickboxing, all the other. Now, what made you love Muay Thai the most? I mean,
oh man,
you chose that.
That was like 10 minutes ago. I was still talking. What I was saying was what separated Muay Thai for me is training in those other arts. I found that a lot of things were simulated. So I was always questioning, like, when I'm learning, does it really work? I don't know. I wasn't the type of guy that went out and got into fights. I was lucky enough to be able to avoid them, but I was always curious. What if I did have to use the stuff? Is it really going to work? I've only practiced it in simulation. Whereas Muay Thai, like I was saying, they developed ways of training where you could punch full force and elbow and knee and kick and know what it feels like to get hit, know what it feels like to hit something, and know the application of it. So I think that's what really separates it for me. And also the conditioning. Unfortunately, you go to a lot of martial arts schools around the world, and you see, you walk into a gym or a dojo, and the head instructor is a 400-pound guy sitting behind the desk. And that's not really, I feel like as a martial artist, your tool is your body. And what Muay Thai really stresses is being conditioned, being fit, keeping your body ready. For God forbid, if you have to use it in street self-defense or if you want to be a fighter, whatever it is keeping your tool sharp. And as a martial artist, that's our tool, our body. So we need to know exactly how it's done. A painter doesn't pretend to go through their painting strokes. They paint. That's how they learn. So in Muay Thai, to be in a Muay Thai martial artist, you have to train that way.
Wow. Well, I have seen you guys in the boxing ring at the gym, and wow, that's major. I mean, that's the major. Oh, here we go. Hold on. Okay, Jonathan's back. Woo! So we have everybody now. I see you guys, and that is like a full body workout, like for hours. So you have to
and
be.
It's more like for some people, it's not the sport. There's a lot of people that train at our gym at Muay Thai school, and they're not there to be fighters. Some of them, we had one gentleman within the first 5 or 6 months he was there, lost almost 100 pounds just training. And he wasn't training to be a fighter. He was doing it for his body, for his health. Some people do it for fitness. Some people do it for the spiritual, the art. Other people do it for the sport. But that's why I think it's a martial art. That's what separates it from other sports. It could be used for anybody. And the way that we learn it from our instructor, Kunakweed, is how do we apply this to everything we do in every aspect of our life? It's not just how do you act in the gym. It's like, what do you take that you learn at the gym and apply it to every part of your life?
Well, I actually was going to ask about that. Is Muay Thai very much like martial arts? Martial arts, to me, from what I understand about martial arts, is it's a way of living in a way. It kind of follows through every kind of aspect of your life. Is that correct? Is Muay Thai that way
Absolutely.
too?
One of the first lessons you learn in Muay Thai, we joke around about it, but our crew says it. He must say it. Crew means teacher. Our teacher says it all the time is balance. He must say balance 100 times per class. And one of the things that he also tell you is, you need to have balance in the ring. You need to have balance to throw a punch or a kick, but you need balance in all of your life. You have to balance relationship. You have to balance your savings account. You got to balance. Everything in life takes balance, and when you can figure that out, I think that's when you're onto something. And that's something you struggle to figure out your whole life. And but it helps out to be physically fit. It helps out to be physically sharp because then your brain can work a little easier. That's true, and you see things a lot more clear too when you're physically fit. Yeah, I can attest to that. Okay, so Joe,
You came back from Thailand, where you fought, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Hey, Ronnie.
And you did.
Ronnie.
Oops. It's okay.
Sorry.
Where you did 9 professional Muay Thai fight. Oh yeah, that's right. You're the stitch guy. You're Stitch 'em?
Yeah, Stitch 'em up.
You're called Stitch 'em up.
That's my ring name.
Oh my God, that's funny. Okay. And what was it like fighting in Thailand? I mean, I can imagine it was amazing, but how is it different than fighting here?
I don't know that it's that much different. Where the rules are the same.
Different competitors, though? I mean, do you have different kinds of competitors in Thailand than you would here?
Right. Yeah, you obviously in Thailand there's a lot of history. There would be in America there's a kid can play baseball, basketball, soccer, football, hockey, ice hockey, or there's many sports in America that make up American culture. And in Thailand there are a lot less sports that people play. The country's known for Muay Thai. It's their national sport. So kids start, and when I was at Pu'u in camp in Thailand, there were kids there that had 3 fights that were 8 years old that fought completely full rules without pads, gloves, and their parents fought since they were 8 years old, and it's just very deep rooted in their DNA is the sport of Muay Thai, and so their techniques are far superior to someone who's been doing it for 10 years or was taught by somebody who's been doing it for 10 years, because their teacher had 200 fights. He's been fighting since he was 8 years old, and his teacher had 200 fights, and his teacher had 200 fights. So the IQ of a Thai fighter who was born and raised and did that since he was 8 years old is much higher than, say, me, who's been doing it 11 years since I was 15. But the sport and the energy and the country, it was amazing. I got to fight at Rajadamnern Stadium, which has been kind of my dream since I started. All the things that these guys are talking about were the things that I learned when I first started Muay Thai 10 years ago. And one of the things that I learned about was Rajadamnern Stadium and Lumpini Stadium and the prestige behind fighting at those stadiums. And I always wanted, someday to be able to do that. And I was able to do that. It was a great experience for me.
Oh, I can imagine that it would be very different going to another country and fighting. Yeah, the fights are the same, but you're in a different culture, you're in a different area, and I would imagine that the overall atmosphere would be different than, say, here where you're on your home base turf,
It's very different. It's hard for me to put into words the difference. It would be like a kid starting to play basketball when he was 15 and dreaming someday he'd be able to play at Madison Square Garden, whether he was playing in the a small game, or if he was playing for the national championship. It would be very exciting for that kid to someday be able to play at Madison Square Garden, and that's
right.
How I felt about it.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so I'm going to ask each one of you this question. What kind of, injuries have you had to overcome in your career?
Since I started, I've had everything from, I've broken all of my toes at least twice. I don't even keep track or go to the doctor anymore. I've cracked 3 ribs. I've had probably 15 or so stitches put in my head and my face somewhere. I've never broke my nose. I had a hairline fracture in my jaw. I didn't get to fight last year because I tore my ACL and ripped my MCL off the bone. had 2 knees.
Oh.
I still have all my teeth. My nose has never been broken, and I don't have cauliflower hair. So life is still pretty good.
Now, okay, I'm gonna ask. I'm gonna go back.
That being said, I still get modeling jobs all the time. So I guess I'm.
I was just about to ask what kind of if you do sponsorship stuff or you endorse. Do you have endorsement deals and things like that?
Unfortunately, because like they were saying, the sport of Muay Thai is not that popular, or not as popular as boxing, and as popular as MMA. And the reason behind that is it's not on TV. You know, right now, if I go home tonight, there's probably at least one professional MMA fight that I can find on cable TV tonight. There's not going to be any. There's not going to be any Muay Thai on TV tonight, and unfortunately, I really don't understand why, because the complaints that I hear from people all the time about MMA is, you know, why don't they just stand up? Because people don't understand the sport of jiu-jitsu or the beauty behind the wrestling. The average person that turns on the TV that wants to see a fight, wants to see people punch each other in the face, kick each other in the face, elbow each other in the face, knee each other. And for whatever reason, MMA has been much more televised and much better promoted. And I think that's what stand-up promotions is trying to do, is to bring the sport of Muay Thai to mainstream media and to the people of America, because it's something that I know that America wants to see. They're just not seeing it. Now, when you go to Thailand, they have newspapers. There were the first 8 pages of the newspapers about who fought what stadium where. You know, they have Muay Thai on the radio. People listen to the radio to find out about a fight. They're listening to the play-by-play of a fight going on, which is, you know, that was baffling to me.
I bet.
You know, so it's that big, and hopefully someday it will be that big here. You know, it's very big in Europe. It's very big in Australia, Holland, China, all over the world. For whatever reason, America is a little far behind, and that's why it's such a great thing that Stand Up Promotions is promoting these shows, and they're putting on phenomenal shows. Their last couple shows were amazing, and I know they have more planned throughout the year. So that's why we really need people to come out and watch, and they won't be disappointed for sure.
Oh, awesome! No, so you a model in your off time?
Oh no, that was kind of a joke, but
yeah,
you know, we live in Los Angeles, so you know, I have never really tried to pursue modeling. Only in LA, people will come up to you and ask you to do stuff. I've done a couple of ads, and I did a commercial. But I was just saying that apparently after 11 years of Muay Thai, I'm not that brutal looking that I can still get a modeling job.
No, it sounds like you kind of kept your injuries to a minimum and off your face at least.
Right.
Well, that's a good thing in the industry, that's for sure.
Right.
All right, Dan. What injuries have you incurred over the years?
Oh man, compared to Joe, I don't even want to say. I think I've had a couple hangnails. I mean, nothing. I really, in all the martial arts training I've done, I've never had. Thank God, knock on wood, I've never had any major injuries. I mean, I'm sure I've had.
He's probably just better at it. I'm the only one getting hurt.
I'd like to say that. Yeah, I've been pretty okay. I can't. There's nothing that really stands out. You know, just bumps and bruises, pretty much, but nothing that's kept me out of commission for too long. But then again, I'm not competing at the level that Joe is.
Yeah.
If anyone saw his last fight against Ryan Roy on September 26th, it was absolutely incredible. Every time the fighters, and that's why I know if you guys do come out to see the show, just like Joe said, you will not be disappointed. Every time Joe and Ryan got out of their stools from their corner, the whole audience stood up, and it just absolutely, the energy in there was amazing. It was incredible. So I see where his injuries are coming from, you know. But I think most of them are going to his opponents. But definitely I've been lucky.
Hold on 1 second, guys. Okay. So you haven't had much going on. Jonathan, how have you fared? In the 3 years,
well, especially for compared to Joe. I'm gonna go with Dan to say, I stubbed my toe a couple times.
Stubbed your toe. Oh,
I'm just gonna stick with that.
Dude, are you trying to make us sick? Is that what it is? Well, you're still doing the amateur. You're still doing the amateur stuff, right?
Yes.
So you haven't gotten into the pro world where you can sustain some of the injuries that Joe has gone through.
Yeah, a lot easier to get cut.
I mean, I want to point out that to say that these guys are amateurs is yes, license-wise they're amateurs, but most of my injuries came when I was an amateur coming up. They have to work really, really hard to get where they want to be.
Absolutely.
To make it to be a pro. It's an honor to become a pro, and it's a lot of sacrifice and a lot of it's a big challenge just to decide about when you're ready to become a pro. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and take that next step to the next level, and people say they're amateurs, but I promise the people that come to watch the show are not going to be like, oh, these guys are amateurs. They're going to fight with no headgear, no shin pads, and they're going to try just as hard as the professionals are to win, except the amateurs aren't getting paid. The amateurs maybe have more heart and more desire than the professionals because they're not getting paid to do that. They're doing it because they
That's true.
That's their that's
Absolutely.
their dream.
Good point.
And I would never want to take anything away or to even call these guys amateurs. Amateur boxers, before they go pro, wear headgear. There's a lot more restrictions on them of what they can do. Other than kneeing somebody in the face or elbowing them, the amateurs are going at it. I had, I think almost all of my injuries were when I was an amateur. I think I only had like 6 stitches since I went pro. The broken jaw was when I was an amateur. Most of the toes broken were in the gym sparring. So to call them amateurs is kind of rude. The way that
okay, we'll
average
say
person. You could call them amateur.
Pro.
Saying the thought behind them being amateur is kind of silly because they're fighting without pads. They're fighting in the exact same show that I'm fighting in.
Yeah.
They're going through the exact same training and the same work ethic and cutting the same weight. Well, I don't know if anybody cuts as much weight as I do, but they're cutting weight. They're just. I guarantee you, John's just as hungry as I am right now.
I sit at fight weight. I'm lucky, but I didn't get to. I had to skip Thanksgiving though.
Okay. Well, there you go.
No
that's
way.
For that.
I'm sure Joe was just hating that day, right?
I did a low carb Thanksgiving actually in my house. It wasn't
nice.
Too terrible. There was no stuffing and no mashed potatoes, but we cooked turkey steak and crab legs. I was pretty happy camper.
Cool.
Oh yeah. So you don't eat any kind of bad food then. You're always on. You're pretty much always doing some sort of eating regime that is very healthy. Is that correct?
You must be talking to John because
yeah.
the way that describes me.
Yeah. I try to eat healthy most of the time, but you train so much, you burn most of it off. So
sure.
Yeah, but
so you don't have to worry too much, right? Because if you do, yeah.
Yeah, well, the thing is with amateurs, we have to always be ready, always, around our fight weight because, you get called up like 3 days before because someone pulls out of a fight because they're not contracted to fight as amateurs, I guess. So, like Joe's fight, it's contracted. They have to be there. They're going to be on weight. And, everything's signed and, it has to happen. But for amateurs, it could be they switch my opponent up on me. This fight's going to be at 140, but, maybe they could switch it up on me tomorrow, and I have to fight at like 135 pounds or something. So it's something I'll have to keep in mind.
Right. Yeah. Oh, I didn't even think about that. That's not something that anybody would think about, but you're so right. It's like, it's very much like, it's not the same like sport or anything, but it's like the spokespeople for Jenny Craig or whatever. They're always weighed and stuff. They always have to be toward, on their target goal. Otherwise, they get thrown off the show. They won't be able to be endorsed anymore.
Yeah.
You're right, because you could be called up if somebody pulls out or something, and you would be the person that would be. Yeah. Well, that it's an intense. I'm serious. It's an intense sport, and I have all the respect in the world for you guys, because that's not easy to do, and there's a lot of training involved, obviously. But you guys will be, again, it will be at the, what's it called? Stand Up Promotions in Commerce Casino on December 5th. People that would like to come to the show, call me up. I have some tickets, and we can put you down on the VIP list. But I want to thank all of you guys for coming on tonight. It was a pleasure. I learned so much about Muay Thai. I will never be without my knowledge now. But thank you, Joe Schilling. Thank you, Dan Mayid, and thank you and Jonathan Pu'u. And you guys have a good night. And I will hopefully people will we'll see you at the fight. Good luck.
Right. Thank you.
Also, Deb, one more thing. Oh, Deb.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes.
One more thing. The tickets are going fast. There might be some left at the door. The best thing to do if you are interested in tickets, if you're not getting them from the show, will be to call Stand Up Promotions at 818-980-6688. Again, it's 818-980-6688. General admission is $40. There really isn't a bad seat in the house, but there's a great deal going on for ringside tickets. They're $60 a ticket, but you buy one, you get one half price. So it comes out to $45 a ticket, which is unbelievable. And then for VIP seating, for $90, you get a free drink, free food, and you get ringside service. So, the prices are really reasonable. There's going to be 10 bouts. I can guarantee Joe Schilling's fight's going to be amazing. I know John's going to put on a good show. Also, the other main event is Malai Pet and Kevin Ross. They're both WBC International Muay Thai champions, and right now at that weight class, they're said to be the best in the United States. So they're going to go head-to-head. I know a lot of people are looking forward to that fight. But again, the number is 818-980-6688. You can call and get your tickets that way, or you can go to the event the day of and purchase your tickets.
Wonderful. Thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a great night.
You too. All right, Jeff.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye. Bye-bye.
All right, that's it today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you guys are listening on iTunes, please go leave a review. It means the world to me if you enjoy the content, if you like hearing about all the stuff that has to do with Muay Thai and what we're doing.